Hello, happy Monday. It is noon and I am here to read some scripture with you today. Sorry, I have a fuzz stuck in my mouth. So typically Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon, I just pick a scripture that I think is either applicable to our lives or that I enjoy and wanted to share with you. But today, since yesterday was Palm Sunday, and many times churches on Palm Sunday will do both Liturgy of the Palms and Liturgy of the Passion, we didn't get a chance to do that yesterday at our church because we did a more abbreviated service. So we just did the Liturgy of the Palms. And so I thought that today we might spend a few minutes reading the Passion narrative out of the book of Matthew. So this comes from Matthew 27, and it's verses 11 through 54. And I think actually in the NRSV that I'll be reading from, the section that verse 54 is in actually continues through verse 56, so I'm going to read that as well. So I don't have a poem today. This is a pretty long piece of scripture, so I thought that we would just read this and take this time as we are still at the beginning of Holy Week to center ourselves in the Passion narrative and reflect on the week that is to come and what Jesus is about to go through during this week that we're remembering. So let us now go to our scripture. Again, that's Matthew 27, starting at verse 11. Now Jesus stood before the governor, and the governor asked him, "Are you the king of the Jews?" Jesus said, "You say so." But when he was accused by the chief priests and elders, he did not answer. Then Pilate said to him, "Do you not hear how many accusations they make against you?" But he gave him no answer, not even to a single charge, so that the governor was greatly amazed. Now at the festival, the governor was accustomed to releasing a prisoner for the crowd, anyone whom they wanted. At that time, they had a notorious prisoner called Jesus Barabbas. So after they had gathered, Pilate said to them, "Whom do you want me to release for you, Jesus Barabbas or Jesus who is called the Messiah?" For he realized that it was out of jealousy that they had handed him over. While he was sitting on the judgment seat, his wife sent word to him, "Have nothing to do with that innocent man, for today I have suffered a great deal because of a dream about him." Now the chief priests and the elders persuaded the crowds to ask for Barabbas and to have Jesus killed. The governor again said to them, "Which of the two do you want me to release for you?" And they said, "Barabbas." Pilate said to them, "Then what should I do with Jesus who is called the Messiah?" All of them said, "Let him be crucified." Then he asked, "Why? What evil has he done?" But they shouted all the more, "Let him be crucified." So when Pilate saw that he could do nothing, but rather that a riot was beginning, he took some water and washed his hands before the crowd, saying, "I am innocent of this man's blood. See to it yourselves." Then the people as a whole answered, "His blood be on us and on our children." So he released Barabbas for them, and after flogging Jesus, he handed him over to be crucified. Then the soldiers of the governor took Jesus to the governor's headquarters, and they gathered the whole cohort around him. They had stripped him and put a scarlet robe on him, and after twisting some thorns into a crown, they put it on his head. They put a reed in his right hand and knelt before him and mocked him, saying, "Hail, King of the Jews!" They spat on him and took the reed and struck him on the head. After mocking him, they stripped him of the robe and put his own clothes on him. Then they led him away to crucify him. As they went out, they came upon a man from Cyrene called Simon. They compelled this man to carry his cross. And when they came to the place called Golgotha, which means place of a skull, they offered him wine to drink, mixed with gall. But when he tasted it, he would not drink. And when they had crucified him, they divided his clothes among themselves by casting lots. Then they sat down there and kept watch over him. Over his head they put the charge against him, which read, "This is Jesus, the King of the Jews." Then 2 bandits were crucified with him, one on his right and one on his left. Those who passed by derided him, shaking their heads and saying, "You who would destroy the temple and build it in 3 days, save yourself. If you are the Son of God, come down from the cross." In the same way, the chief priests also, along with the scribes and elders, were mocking him, saying, "He saved others, but he cannot save himself. He is the King of Israel. Let him come down from the cross now, and we will believe in him. He trusts in God. Let God deliver him now, if he wants to, for he said, 'I am God's son.'" The bandits who were crucified with him also taunted him in the same way. From noon on, darkness came over the whole land until 3 p.m. And about 3 o'clock, Jesus cried with a loud voice, my God, why have you forsaken me?" When some of the bystanders heard it, they said, "This man is calling for Elijah." At once one of them ran and got a sponge, filled it with sour wine, put it on a stick, and gave it to him to drink. But the others said, "Wait, let us see whether Elijah will come and save him." Then Jesus cried again with a loud voice and breathed his last. At that moment, the curtain of the temple was torn in two from top to bottom. The earth shook and the rocks were split. The tombs also were opened, and many bodies of the saints who had fallen asleep were raised. After his resurrection, they came out of the tombs and entered the holy city and appeared to many. Now when the centurion and those with him who were keeping watch over Jesus saw the earthquake and what took place, they were terrified and said, "Truly, this man is God's son." Many women were also there, looking on from a distance. They had followed Jesus from Galilee and had provided for him. Among them were Mary Magdalene, and Mary the mother of James and Joseph, and the mother of the sons of Zebedee. The word of the Lord. Thanks be. So, this story is not the most pleasant one to read, and yesterday we got to celebrate with palms and remember Jesus' triumphal entry into Jerusalem, but it just goes to show how much things can change in a week. It didn't take long for the people to turn on Jesus and to decide that he wasn't what they wanted after all. So I think it's important that at the beginning of Holy Week we take some time to reflect on this text, to remember the darkness that comes before Easter morning, and to sit with that for a little bit. So I hope that you all are doing well this Monday. I hope that you're still indoors and staying safe and keeping your distance as much as you can. I hope that you are looking forward to walking through Holy Week. Pastor Bill and I are working on putting together Maundy Thursday and Good Friday services for you, and of course something for Easter morning as well. So we'll have more information about that in the days to come. If you weren't able to tune in live for this, of course you can watch the video later, but I also encourage you to take out your Bible and to read this yourself and to just spend a little bit of time with it, thinking about it and reflecting on it. I will be back here with you at 8 o'clock this evening as usual. The only thing that might be different this week is Friday. I think that the schedule might change a little bit since we'll have a Good Friday service, so I might just be here at noon on Friday. So just make sure that you are aware of that. Otherwise, if you have anything that you need us to address, if you've got any concerns, questions, requests for help, send those our way, and we'll see you back here this evening. Bye-bye.